Last second, can you hear them? You should be able to hear them. Voices of the wind, voices of the trees, voices of the animals, and the voices of Earth. They are all calling for your help. Last second, you will probably meet and say goodbye to many people. In talking to these people, you may receive clues to defeating the darkness. Look for them. Now, last second, your adventure will begin. First, go to the village chief's house. He'll show you where to go next. Norune Village. This is Thelastsecondhero, and welcome to what is going to officially be the first episode of Dark Cloud. We just have been informed that despite the fact that our entire village has been destroyed, it hasn't. That we're, for once in our life, not too late, even though we're still kind of a little bit too late. We didn't get the power in time to stop everything from happening, but we got it in time to fix it. I think that's good enough. Let's see what the chief has to say. Oh, last second. You are alive? Seems like we're the only ones in the village that survived. We never dreamt this would happen. One night and our village is gone. Can you believe this last second? I feel so helpless. I, the mayor of the village, can't do anything about it. What am I supposed to do now? I feel bad for this guy. So much weight and strain. I promise, Mayor, I'll fix all of this. I guess the only thing we can do now is to get help from the guardian of Norune Village, Dran. Dran will not abandon us. He'll help us for sure. I have a favor to ask last second. Go to the Divine Beast Cave and tell Dran what happened. Divine Beast Cave is the cave outside towards your right-hand side. You've probably seen it before. I may be imagining things, but I sense something has changed about the cave. Be careful. This is the cave key. Now, I put the things you might need in your bag for you. Don't get carried away. If you get in any trouble there, come back here and I'll get you more supplies. Good luck. Alright. So basically for now, it's nice to know that the mayor is unlimited basic supplies. You can use select to go to the editing menu. We can't do much here, but it is still kind of a fast travel. A big keyhole. Use item with square. And we use the cave key. But there is currently no way to buy items. There will be. I'll explain more to that when we get there. But for now, if you ever run out of items, you just go back to the mayor and he replenishes them automatically. Alright. Let's see what's going on here. It's for real this time, last second. From here on, you will be put to the true test. First, conquer this wretched Divine Beast Cave and find Dran's lair. That's your first goal. Since you're a beginner, I'll give you a lesson on how to fight in the dungeon. First, to advance to the next floor in a dungeon, acquire a gate key for the door leading to the next floor. Each dungeon has a different gate key. For the Divine Beast Cave, Dran's Crest will be the gate key. The gate key is almost always carried by a monster in the dungeon. You must defeat the monsters to acquire the gate key. Since you can't tell which one has the key, you just have to defeat them all, one by one. Next, I'll tell you about how to return to the ground level, rather than advancing to the floor below. To return to the ground level, mind connect with me. In other words, speak with your mind. When you do this, I will transport your body to the ground level. Just select Leave Dungeon from the main menu. But be aware, if there are monsters left on the floor, the Mind Connect won't work. It will be blocked by their evil energies. In such cases, use the item Escape Powder to get out on your own. The Norune Village Chief has lots of it, so be sure to get it before you go. You can also Mind Connect me when you go through the gate to the next floor of a dungeon. When you re-enter the dungeon, you can start at the next level, so you don't have to worry about losing progress. Next, it's onto weapons. Be aware that weapons are breakable. The more you use a weapon, the more it wears, and finally it breaks. Broken weapons will disappear. To prevent weapons from breaking, use the item Repair Powder. It will restore their weapon HP. The longer you use a weapon by repairing, the more magic it absorbs from monsters and thus becomes stronger. It is said that when a weapon reaches its full strength, it can change to a more powerful form. Keep that in mind. Oh, I cast a special spell on that dagger, so it'll never disappear. But all the new weapons you will get during the quest will disappear once they break, so be careful. Don't waste your hard work by letting a weapon break and disappear. Finally, the important stuff, the sphere Atla, where I protected and sealed the fragments of the world. If you see an Atla, don't hesitate to touch it. You can absorb the contents of an Atla into an Atlamelia by touching it. When you return to the surface, you will be able to begin reassembling these fragments of the world. Oops, today's lesson ran a little long. That's it for the lecture today. Now let's show me your true abilities on this quest. Again, a lot to take in. But basically, if you find an enemy, you gotta fight it. Bats can poison you. So, be a little concerned about taking damage from them. If you find a waterfall area, it'll fully restore you and your thirst. Thirst is something you definitely want to keep an eye on, because if your thirst meter goes all the way down, and it will, you'll begin slowly losing HP. It's kind of an odd thing that they put in the game, but I mean, I've played the game for a long time and it's never made it terrible by any stretch. So we acquired our first Atla piece, and it is referred to as Macho. I'm not going to go too much into what each one is. We'll see it when we get it. But, I mean, even people can be sealed in the Atla, unless you're assuming that everybody died. So, some of them are pretty much obvious, and others you're like, what? Lamp. I love Lamp. So you definitely want to gather all the Atla. Because, I mean, we gotta restore the village. That's our job. We waited till it was destroyed, and then now we restore it. So dashers will like to run towards you and then run away. Skeleton soldiers are a little bit slower. I mean, there's kind of a ton of enemies. A lot of them end up being more or less like copies and paste of each other. But you'll definitely notice differences, whether they have different elements or any elements or no elements, or just whether their base strength is much stronger. In this game, your character doesn't really level up, although there are a few things you can do to increase his stats. But it's mostly the weapon leveling up that becomes what you're wanting. This is a big treasure chest. It can generally hold weapons. And that's exactly what it had. This game does require at least small amounts of grinding. So, I mean, it's kind of fair to keep that in mind. You don't want to just rush through the game. But if you grind too much, I mean, the game almost kind of becomes easy. I know, we'll see what it's like when we get there, because I'll probably grind too much. But that's just how I do. But I mentioned it slightly, I think. The third game is coming out. I do believe it'll be a PS4 release. And I am super excited. Level 5 is actually a really good game development studio. Most of their titles are a little strange, to say the least. Okay, A. I can definitely hit at least one more time. Yeah. And my dagger absorption is full. If at all you're close to your dagger absorption being full, it is worth it to level it up before you repair it, because generally speaking the weapon HP increases a little bit. And now I'll actually repair it. I know I have a different weapon. Oh, don't want to dump. But as you can see, it's not much stronger. Its endurance is worse, its speed is worse. it is a better weapon in most cases. Fire attributes decent. Customize. We can look at it's different. It's what is that? Sky Hunter? Yeah. It's got some Sky Hunter already. Decent things. But when you level a weapon all the way up, ooh, tram oil. That's actually really great. Oh my god, that's so good. If you level a weapon all the way up, you actually get the privilege, is what we're going to refer to it as, of turning it into an equipment item. I'll show you later, obviously. There's a lot to go over. No need to go over it all right this very instant. So we're not going to. Now we've acquired some river. These areas can do all kinds of weird things, like almost break your weapons. Oh my god, that is so bad. Okay, I'm almost done with this floor anyway, so I'm not going to freak out about it. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get a repair powder. Magical crystal, not much left in here. Just 2 bats. I already have the thing to get to the next floor, so we're not going to worry much about these bats. They're driving me batty anyways. But we do have a fence, so I'm going to just kind of get going. You know what we're going to do? Oh. I didn't even realize I equipped that. Ha! Well, that's okay, so we can keep using our dagger for now. Okay, so as you'll see, because there's a waterfall, it's going to completely fill my thirst meter, which is the water drop looking thing in the bottom of the top left. And it's going to restore my HP. However, it will not cure me from poison. I do, however, have an antidote, which I was graciously given by the village person. The village chief, I think? Yeah. So that's the thing. Because our dagger is still pretty great, I think I'm going to actually go to the 2nd floor. I want to try to get 2 floors done. Yeah, this thing. So, once we have the Dran's Crest, we could have actually immediately gone, but because killing things gives your weapons experience, it's kind of worth it to wait it out. What is it this time? Oh, a cat? That's odd. Wouldn't have expected to see a cat in a place like this. Okay, so if you couldn't figure it out, the tram oil we got, there's a tram with rusty wheels. Is for that. It'll take you to secret floors. And I'll probably visit it on the next episode. Because I feel like we've went through a lot of tutorial stuff this episode, and I don't want to drag it out much longer. But, yeah, we'll visit one next episode. I could arguably get better use of it if I waited longer, but that's fine. One thing I suggest doing, at least in the beginning of the game, probably throughout the entirety of the game, is if you find yourself leaving the dungeon for whatever reason, when you go back in, I suggest starting back at floor 1. Now the reason why I suggest that is just simply because it's a great way to keep yourself training without really having to stop and focus on the fact that you're training. My weapon's HP is getting kinda low. I would almost not even want to use a repair powder if I got one. Okay, this is an item which I can actually put in my active items, and I'll show you what it does when we get there. And I have soap. Thank God for that. I was starting to smell. I will not show you yet, but I will show you. kind of want a second repair powder so that next time I come into this dungeon, I'll be in a better spot. Although, you know what? It won't really do me any good, so I don't know what I'm thinking. Unless you actually have... When you go back to the village chief, he will give you specific items, but only if you don't have any of them. So say I'm holding a repair powder, and I go back to the chief. Say my weapon's injured. I'm better off repairing the weapon and then getting a second powder from him. Because he'll give me another one, for free. Okay. It's locked. Forcing it open will activate a trap. Force the chest open by guessing the trap. I pretty much always guess poison. Explosion just does a small amount of damage. Curse will prevent me from switching weapons, which I don't want to do right now anyways. So poison. And successfully release. Not bad. Bone rapier. We got another weapon. We're actually getting really lucky with weapon drops. None of these are OP or anything, but they're definitely better than nothing. Let me actually... Okay, wait. 1 second. This guy. If I throw the item at him, it'll actually deal damage, and when you kill them with a throwable item, they tend to drop weapon equipment, which is good. Let me switch to my bone rapier. It's got shit endurance and not a lot of HP, but it's quite a bit more powerful than my current weapon, so not bad, I say. Not bad at all. I'm getting a little thirsty. That's not the end of the world, though. Okay, maybe a little bit. Upstairs storage, guys. So we actually have 3 weapons. You don't usually get quite this lucky with drops, but hey, I'm not going to argue. We do have to go all the way back for those items. There's also charge attacks, but they take a little weapon extra weapon HP, so they're not super worth it. Since I'm thirsty, I do actually have tasty water, and I can drink that and I'll be just fine. And since after this I'm leaving anyways, it's not a big deal, because I mean, I'll show you when we get out of here. He'll try to give us another tutorial. I'll kind of skip that, because I'll give you guys that tutorial later. I'm going to do things a little odd from how you would probably do it if you're playing it, because a lot of what you're going to be doing is rebuilding the town. And now, I would actually generally suggest rebuilding the town as soon as possible. Because by putting places back and putting items back, you keep getting usable items and gifts and things like that. And for your playthrough, if you do decide to play this game, those are all things you're going to kind of want in the playthrough. However, I'm kind of good at this game, and I'm going to be doing a little grinding anyway, so that I don't have any sort of insane issues while playing through. So, I'm not going to worry about that too much. Oh, I finally got a map, guys. Oh, thank God. I think I can actually change how fair the map is. Like its visibility or whatever. That's just fishing bait. Nothing to worry about here, ladies and gents. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here, and then I'm going to show you a few tricks with the village elder guy. Yeah. And then we'll call it a day. Okay, so we're just going to leave dungeon temporarily. It's not going to cost us anything. Even if we had to use an escape powder to get out, which we don't, the village chief will give you another one of those too, which is kind of what he was hinting at. So now he's going to want to talk about all of this editing and building bullshit. We'll go over it in small detail once a few specific things have been unlocked, because they'll kind of make progression easier, even for me. But until that happens, we're just going to ignore it. And you get a manual, which you'll never need. I've not ever used that in any playthrough ever. And it actually takes up real inventory slot. Like, it's so bad. This game's so bad about that. That is like a terrible mistake that the game made. IMO. So now what I'm going to be able to do is I can come in here, talk to him, and he's going to tell me Dran's not seeming the same, and he's going to give me items. So I come in, and I have repair powder, so I can use that on my weapon. And I'm a little thirsty, so I can take a drink. Merp. Okay, there we go. And then when I talk to him, he's going to give me all of those things again. Now, I can actually go in and repair my other weapons. Talk to him again. No easy task. Put some items in for me. And I can repair my last weapon. And he'll give me all the items again. So it's really no problem. It's the best way to do it. Absolutely, without a doubt. You just talk to him and he gives you all the items. You repair all your stuff. Get yourself at 100%. And, I mean, it's just good. It's the only way to do it, really. But that's going to actually end it for the first episode of Let's Play Dark Cloud. Second episode, we get our first mini-boss, I think. There'll be a few little extra tutorial stuff. It's kind of hard to tell when I'll show you a little bit more with the building, because it's kind of luck-based a little bit, and I'll explain that when it happens. And, of course, we'll just traverse a little bit further through Dran's cave? Something. Anyways, so, expect that when you see it, we'll be hitting the 3rd floor probably, like, instantly, because, like I said, I'm going to train by going back through the first 2. And the game's changing days, so I actually want to save. That was probably actually last time I tried LPing this game. That's fine. Saving complete. See you guys next time.